Hey everyone, Kim here, Abundant Life Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me for another Mystery Mystic reading. We're now taking a look at KEI'MANI's house where she resided with her guardian grandmother, Dorothy, on Elm Street. And I have been exploring the energy surrounding what are the houses or the properties that have been mentioned so far in the investigation surrounding what happened to KEI'MANI. What do they have to say? What secrets do they have to reveal? Check out the part 6 I did, which was exploring 1101 Miami Street. That is where she was found, or her body was found, and purportedly where her father did these crimes. So yeah, check that video out. It will be in the playlist. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So we just want one or two cards that really gives us a sense of what was going on. Artificial heart. Okay. Which is sad to me. Feels robotic. The energy feels almost mechanical. Artificial heart. There was a lot of that in there. It wasn't like this was a place where a lot of loving and nurturing was happening. You know, some people, that's maybe how they were raised. And it's not really me judging them or saying, oh, you know, because everybody might have a different definition of what feels like nurturing or taking care of someone. But artificial heart is an interesting card to get, right? It just feels like collectively the energy is such that there's just no real genuine kind of love. Now, that's not to say there weren't pockets of that happening through the house's history, or even with the time that KEI'MANI lived there with her grandmother. There could have been happy times, but overall, the sense of artificial heart is at play here. I'm just going to glance at the little guidebook that this comes with, just to see if any keywords in the text stand out. Okay. Yeah, it says it gets the job done. It's not a job of feelings. It's scripted. Pay attention. It's scripted. Like a job of numbers. Actually, it feels like a trade-off. We find refuge in the rational mind, which in turn gives us back the illusion of control, but we still feel. We still long to live through our emotions fully. We are truly like an artificial knight that wants to become a real person. Yeah, I'll stop there. The stage is bargain. Like the stage of grief. Bargain. So that's it feels like the dynamics were negotiable in the household. You do this for me, I do this for you. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. You don't, there's consequences. It's that energy. It's very robotic, mechanical, if you will. Just, let me know what you think when you see artificial heart. And even the attire, the bondage look, it's just like, yeah. I get a sense that KEI'MANI didn't really like being there. I picked up on that on the past readings we've done surrounding her case, but this feels like this is just also the overall energy of that particular house. The people there that come to it feels it. Each time it's chiseling a little bit more away at your humanity. It's being in that house and that vibration. Okay, let's move on. So now we want to ask about the secrets of this house that would like to share with us today. We're tapping into the energies of Elm Street, Toledo, Ohio. Political affiliation. That's interesting. Interesting card. This one came up in the last one, Stalker. It came up in part 6 at the Miami Street house. Okay. I shuffled this deck really good in between readings, just to make sure we got a good mix. Drama filled. Heavy speculation. That's an interesting one as well. Drama filled, just telling. Let's get this stack. Clean up. Interesting. Remember, these are the secrets that the house is willing to share with us. Accident. Lord. Okay. We're getting somewhere. Hold on. One more. Oh, justice and karma. Spirit is saying to do one more row, so we'll do that. Parents, false accusations. 2 more. Life insurance or inheritance. Okay. Wooded area. All right. Let's stop there. These are the secrets that this house could share with us. So we're going to zoom in a little bit and go through them. Uh-oh. It's all crooked. All right, so political affiliation. I don't know. I don't even know how to even go there. Political ties to that house. People who, you know, maybe not political like, oh, the governor or something like that. Maybe it's like local politicians. Who knows? Somehow has ties to this house. I don't know. But this is, you know, you can let me know if you know something that I'm missing here. Political affiliation is the very first card. I don't know. Could it be street politics that she, you know, is a part of? Maybe the people in this house are a part of it as well. I don't know. Stalker came up in the Miami Street house reading. Stalker. I get a sense that this is speaking to, and this is a reading related to KEI'MANI, related to this house. I'm not trying to pick up all the whole history of this house, just one aspect of it. This could be that she had been stalked for a while in this location, at this house. That could be also why it like really contributed to her stress in the months preceding her death. Particularly the winter time preceding in this house. Mid to end of winter, and also several months back into 2024, she could feel like someone wanting her, someone wanting something from her. We have drama filled. This house is filled with a lot of drama. A lot going on. There could be arguments or people coming and going, parties. Just it doesn't feel like a settled place for a child. It's drama filled. You see the man and the woman here. There could be those kind of relationship dynamics. Not necessarily the grandmother, but someone else there. Heavy speculation. There is heavy speculation. So this is what the house is wanting to share with us. Like, you know, yes, sometimes where there's smoke, there is fire. Sometimes where there's rumors about certain things going on in the house, there is some truth. But there's also a lot of heavy speculation to the point that it is crowding people seeing things for what they are, is what Spirit is saying here. Heavy speculation. Cleanup. This could be an actual cleanup, like the house Spirit is telling us. Like, maybe this is going to come out later at the trial, if there is a trial, or if, let's say he changes his plea, Darnell, from not guilty to guilty, and allocutes what he did. Okay, that means, you know, telling how it all happened. Maybe he talks about the start of trying to clean up at Dorothy's house because maybe something happened. Like some sort of argument ensues, and this could be a part of a defense strategy or something that his defense attorney is exploring. Oh, she accidentally, you know, died, or it was an accident. He just went ahead and tried to do all this extra stuff to her. They're going to be coming up with a lot of different ways to try to absolve him. And that's what a defense attorney does, is try to get their client off and to be prepared for that. In terms of the house, though, there's something about a cleanup of an accident. So maybe what this house Spirit is saying is that, yeah, a crime happened to KEI'MANI. Yes, it did. But there was also an accident that may have been needed to be covered up. Allegedly, maybe tied to guardians or people expected to take care of her. Some kind of evidence needs to be covered up. So maybe what people are seeing, that they speculate, heavy speculation of what the grandma is doing or not doing, is tied to something needing to be covered up that may not necessarily be a cause for her death, but something to be covered up. Also, cleanup could be there's evidence of cleanup starting at this house. You let me know what you all think these cards are speaking to you about. What comes up for you? Lured. This card came up in recent readings that I did on this case. We are noticing repeat cards. It's because Spirit is like, some of you are missing the mark on understanding what's really going on. And here's the theme again. Here's the card again. Here's the theme. Lured. Maybe there was some luring going on happening in this house. If you do this for me, I'll give you this. That energy. I talked about that. Transactional is what it feels like. Very transactional in this house. Lured. When you think of like who is lured, typically children are. What are they lured with? Things that are yummy, sweet, fun, valuable. And I don't know, there could be some justice coming down the line in terms of that aspect of KEI'MANI's case. And karma playing out as it relates to any injustices that happened to her in that house. And this is all alleged. This is just, what I'm picking up in the house spirits. This is for educational and entertainment purposes only. All right, so now the parent card came up again. We know we're dealing with parental dynamics in this whole situation. That's why when I started doing the readings as it relates to the key players, I said, well, we don't need to go off to all these different characters. Let's start first with KEI'MANI and then expand from there. We did Darnell. At some point, I got to get to her biological mom and then the grandmother. So it's no surprise that the parent card comes up because Spirit is just pointing us in that direction. You don't have to go far to really figure out what happened here. And, you know, some things are going to surprise you and some things are just not. And it's going to be underwhelming in some regards. A lot of people are expecting like this big aha moment. There will be something tied to this house and what was going on with, you know, other people in this house and perhaps even KEI'MANI. But in terms of the grandmother, I don't know. Like, for example, we have here parent. She was the guardian. She lived in this house. We're talking about this house today. And then we have false accusations, life insurance, or inheritance. There was a rumor going around that for a while, and it was started allegedly by, well, no, it wasn't alleged. It was started by people either representing the biological mother or herself, implying that Dorothy, the grandmother, had a life insurance policy on KEI'MANI. So we have here false accusations sitting next to life insurance or inheritance. This also could be speaking to, there's a lot of stuff being thrown around here with heavy speculation and false accusations that when it all comes down to it, I don't know if she really has a lot tied to what happened to KEI'MANI. There's other things she's tied to that affected KEI'MANI's life in negative ways, allegedly. But it's almost like two different, like a highway of like the path taking us to what ends up happening to KEI'MANI. And then, you know, Dorothy and her are here, and then Dorothy goes this way, and then what's going on with Darnell and whatever plot point he's in, whatever script he's going down. We keep seeing that keyword that came up tonight, and that came up in his readings. Script kept coming up. Whatever, he went here, Dorothy's here, and Dorothy didn't necessarily go all the way here with him, if that makes any sense. She caused some bumps and bruises and things along the way to KEI'MANI, no doubt about it. But I don't know. I get a sense that this false accusations card is speaking to perhaps people have it wrong. Some things wrong about Dorothy. That's what I'll say. All right. Well, I'll be right back. How did KEI'MANI feel about living at this house on Elm Street? Ace of Water in reverse. Daughter of Air. Page of Swords. Okay. Okay. Ace of Water is in reverse. Deviant or pervert came out. Or perv, we'll say. Parole or probation. She didn't like the environment. I can pick up on that with the artificial heart for sure. House. Okay. Ace of Water in reverse. There's no... She was always seeking out new opportunities for like a bond and a loving connection with either the people inside the house or not. And just constantly bumping up against walls. Not getting the love that she needed. She had to grow up, you know, it feels like relatively quickly here with the Daughter of Air. She feels like she had to be tough in this house. You see how she's pulling her sword out of the sheath here. She always had to be on the ready. Like, basically, she didn't get a chance to, like, there was a time where she got to be a child, but during this time, staying in this house, remember, we're looking at it via the vantage point of the house and her perspective, it felt like she had to rush to grow up and rush to, like, not have, like, this experience of living at her grandma's house to be nurturing and comforting. It was the opposite. Goes with the artificial heart. We also got these deviant or parole or probation, someone who was in this house at one point or another, someone watching. Remember, we keep getting the stalking cards. Someone watching. Could be her own alleged father, Darnell, but it could be someone else. Parole or probation. And house. I don't know if somebody was on parole or probation in that household at any given time, but it just caused her stress. She wasn't at peace. And it's really upsetting to think, you know, these aren't the kind of cards, not these cards, but these cards are not the kind of cards you want to see for a 13-year-old in terms of how do they feel living in their home. Unloved. And having to always be on the ready to defend herself. No telling who popping up at the house. And this is from also the house's perspective. The energies of the house. Okay. Let's see. I wanted to know preceding KEI'MANI's death, did other people live at the 2920? I said the house number. Sorry, y'all. And I'm not bleeping it out, so I won't say it again. But this house, did anyone else stay there? In the days preceding, we got Three of Cups. There was certain kind of partying going on that weekend when she was away, and then when she came back, is what this card can indicate. Three of Cups represents the season of summer, early summer, or the timing of 3 days. It also represents, there's a little community of folk. It's a yes card. It's an affirmative. All this is alleged, but if people wondered if there was people living there in recent times, yes. Okay. I think I wanted to, I feel like with the accident card too, what this could be is like something happened or he said something to KEI'MANI. Darnell said something and lured her out. You know how he told us, what did he tell us? He said something to the effect of, she was scared. She she was sending me messages, so I came over to try to be the protective dad. To me, it feels like he lied to her and gave her a story about needing to see her, luring her out. Yeah. And justice is coming. But luring her out of the home under false pretenses. Wow. So there were people there. It was a drama-filled house. There's a lot going on. We have judge. A lot of people are, judging this. Look at that house. Look at that. Okay. Judge. Can't see the keywords. House. Accident. It's got the keyword emergency. urgency, SOS. We got two different accident cards. Something about this word, something about something needing to be covered up, an accident, or this being one of the many potential defenses that Darnell could come up with later. And it starts here at this house. But I remember in the past readings I did on this case that I felt like there was multiple areas of importance in this scene, like in what happened to her. Yes, Elm Street. Yes, Miami Street. And there could be another location. But this was like, this is the epicenter where it started, where he lured her out. And then when they're getting to this creepy house on Miami Street, that's when it became very real for her that something wasn't right. This is a very bright, intelligent young woman, KEI'MANI, and she could sense something was off. Yeah, this is interesting. Also, this could also be indicating that somebody in this house had an accident recently, filed a claim, will file a claim, will have an accident. Maybe people who once resided at this house will encounter some misfortune and have some sort of accident. So there's that. So it could be also persistently coming up and telling us that, because look, we have two different accident cards. So yeah, I don't know what I really expected. I mean, here we got another house card. And look, this house to house. It's almost like this is where she lived. It's all beautiful. And then this is like a shell of a house, Miami Street. House. Or emphasis on there's more key things at this house to consider that maybe people aren't considering. Not saying law enforcement isn't aware, because make no mistake, law enforcement is aware of certain points that we're just not privy to. And that's just how they're rolling with this investigation. So, but it's like here to here, this house to that house. Interesting. And judge, not quite sure. I know people were judging her, and rightfully so. I mean, to be honest, I feel like, yeah, she's no saint, Dorothy, you know. I think we all can agree. She probably would even say she ain't no saint. But to lay it all on her, I don't know. The house is saying something else was going on up in here. And there's a lot of false accusations going on, heavy speculation, and there were certain things that happened to KEI'MANI that forced her to have to grow up. And this is a concerning card, this deviant or perv card. What was that about? Could be the grooming that the grandmother said that Darnell was doing to KEI'MANI. It could be grooming, right? We keep getting stalker cards that came up throughout the readings. So that's another theme. So, I don't know. This is what I pick up on the Elm Street house. Let me know what you all think. I can't think of any other questions I want to ask related to it right now, but perhaps we'll do in the future a reading if we think of other questions. But I guess we'll just end it there. Do me a favor on your way out, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And I do want to also say before we wrap up that I feel like this card is assuring us with this house that law enforcement did get what they were supposed to do. Crime scene was, you know, considered and factored. And so I felt like we needed to see this. This is important related to this house, to put people's minds at ease about that. Okay? Oh, and one other card. Wooded area. I don't know if there's a nearby park or wooded area over there. Maybe there's some key, like in close proximity to to this house. Maybe there's some key evidence that will be revealed later that was left there, for example. Or maybe there's evidence of something else going on, not related to necessarily KEI'MANI's death, but something going on around her or around her guardian or around these, you know, it feels like at some points, 3 other people live there, perhaps. I don't know. All right, I could keep plugging away at these cards all day, but I'm going to stop here. So we'll keep going and taking our time. I'm not in a rush. I hope you're not in a rush either. We're just going to take our time and see what comes up and see how the cards play out, right? All right, you all take good care of yourselves. Bye for now.